Hey guys, I am working on some nail art studio designs for a fundraiser that I'm doing in 2 weeks, and got the designs approved by the director today. And this particular fundraiser is actually for color guard and band, and I already finished the color guard ones, and she wanted the same designs actually available to band as well. So we recreated a couple things, and that's what I'm going to be working on. So I will tell you ladies, I'll show you a little bit about just little things that you can do. So a couple things. First is that the untitled here, that's going to be the name of your design. Okay, I always, for fundraisers, I title mine with the company that I'm doing the fundraiser for, the cause, and then something that has to do with the actual design itself. So that's completely up to you as to what you name that. So what you want to do is right here, you are going to see a purple line. That is representing the wrap that you are currently working on. So if I move that over, you're going to obviously have that wrap changed. Same thing here. Okay, so first things first, you're going to have different objects that you can place, and you're also going to have different patterns that they allow as well that you can work with, change colors, etc. I don't do a whole lot with that. I typically will design in Photoshop and then upload my own, which I'll be showing you. But the biggest thing is that the blue area right here, you need to make sure that that is completely covered. So I'm going to show you just as a basic example as to what that is. So if you're using this oval right here, I'm going to place this right here. As you can see, the outline of the actual shape isn't actually covering outside of this blue line. So they'll actually reject that design and then have you resubmit. So you want to make sure, I always just put a background right here to make sure that it's always covered. So that's what I'm going to show you. We are going to actually, let's just go ahead and delete that, and then I'll show you as we get here. So uploads right here are the images that you want to upload or that you've created. So we are going to be working on this one right here. So I'm going to pull that up and then simply just shrink this down, because obviously that is way too big to fit on our wrap. So I'm just going to shrink that down. I'm actually going to go back over to this wrap right here, and we're going to pull that back up. So you want to make sure that the wrap that you want to work on is actually pulled up when you put the upload, or it's going to kick it back. So I'm just going to just size this down right here. I usually size them down. See, I want to make sure that that covers, but as you can see, if I were to have a duplicate one right here, it wouldn't cover. So what I do is I'm simply just going to grab a shape here, and I always just use the oval just because it's simple. And it's going to cover everything. I'm going to turn that into the black color because I'm using a black background, and I'm just going to make this massive, and I'm going to shove that right here. As you can see, it covered that up. Right here it says back. I'm going to shove that to the back really fast, and it's going to appear right there. So now what I'm going to do is I want to actually have the same exact size on this end. So all that you want to do is click on copy. And then right here, we're going to flip this around. Just make sure it's centered. There we go. And then I'm going to pull this straight up. And one thing I like to do is I like to look to see where this center line is on my actual image and make sure it's in the exact same location so that they're centered. So this one actually needs to come over just a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to hit apply. Okay, now one thing that you can actually do is if this design right here is going to be saved to multiple multiple ones here. Now what I'm going to do is I am actually going to pull up this image here, and I'm going to see what I did for the color guard. I have a different program pulled up here. I want to make sure they're identical because I'm doing one for color guard, one for band. So mine starts with number 1 and then with number 3 on this, and I go every third one. So that's exactly what I'm going to do on here. So you simply want to apply to multiple. And you can see I have some check boxes checked here. You want to make sure that you clear those first, or it's going to apply it possibly to the wrong ones. So I'm going to go 1, and I'm going to skip 2 because I have 3 different designs. And then I'm going to go to 3 is where it was, 6 and 9. And then I'm just going to apply design to selected. And then boom, they're all there. Now one thing that you're going to notice, just as an example, let's go over to the pinky one. That is not going to work. Okay, number 1, it's way too big. And number 2, by the time you guys know that these pinky ones, they're huge, right? You can usually cover 3 pinky nails with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to size this down. Okay, I'm going to delete that. Click back on this. I'm going to copy it again. And I'm simply just going to flip that over. I'm going to pull it straight up. Center it where I want it and apply. Now you can see that that is shrunk down and it's sized appropriately for the actual nail. Now I'm going to come over here, the same exact thing. These are a little too large in my opinion, so I'm actually just shrinking them down just a very small amount. Again, I'm going to delete this one here. I'm going to copy this, and I'm just going to flip this around. And this is kind of what you want to do with all of them. You want to make sure that they are sized appropriately. You want to make sure that they aren't too big for the nail that they're going to be going on. A lot of us have been applying these for a long enough time that we're going to know whether something's too big or not. Again, it's going to depend on nail bed sizes, that type of thing. Now, one thing here is that the number 4 and number 5, or number 4 and number 3 wrap, they're pretty similar in size. So what I actually like to do is I'll just go to apply to multiple. Again, I'm going to clear these check boxes right here, and I'm going to click number 4 and number 3, and I'm going to apply to multiple here so that that's automatically resized. It's going to cut down on my time. And then the same thing over here. I'm just going to size that down. I'm going to delete here, and then again I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to flip her around just like this, and then put this right up here. Okay, again I'm going to apply this to multiple again, and 7 and 6, again they're very similar in size, so I'm going to click this here, 7 and then 6, and then the numbers are down here, so it's very easy to see which nail you're going to be resizing, and then apply to selected. And that resized it. So I'm going to go back to my image here, and I can see that I used the polka dots here on this next one. So what I'm going to do is just click on this, and let's see, it went to, and then the first one. So I'm going to go to my uploads, and there it is right there. So I'm going to grab that, and again, you can size this however you want to. This one has a white background, as you can see right here. So one thing, just to make sure that it's sized the way that I want it to be sized, as you can see, this doesn't cover down here. So again, what I like to do is I'm just going to grab a shape. I'm going to pull this over here. I'm going to recolor it to white since I'm using a white background. I'm going to make this massive so it covers the entire nail, and then push it back. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this, I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to flip that around just like that, and then pull it straight up. Make sure that it's aligned the way that I want it to be viewed, and I do want to pull this up just a little bit. Okay, so that's okay with me. I'm going to apply that to multiple again. I'm going to clear these check boxes, and I'm going to go to, and it's every 3 because this is a mixed mani with 3 different designs. And then my other one starts at number 1. So I'm going to go 1 and then 4 and then 7 on this one, and I'm going to apply to selected. And that's going to put them on all of the ones that I selected. Okay, now the other thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that each individual wrap is lined up the way that you want it to be, that it looks the way that you want it to be. So I simply just click on this. Now if I want, which I do, I want to move some of these over. And again, I'm going to move some of this over. And I want to pull this down just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm gonna, you can see if you look down here where the 5 is, you can watch it change. So I'm gonna apply. And that to me looks a little bit better. So I'm gonna go on to the next one and I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Okay, and apply. So for those of you, if you guys are getting bored, that's okay. You can leave if you would like to. Doesn't matter to me, but this way you can actually just see it being done. I'm doing it anyway, so I may as well invite you guys to come and watch. Okay, so I'm good with that. I'm good with my polka dots. And then the next design that's on here for the band ones is a stripe. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna grab my stripe design. Here's number 3, because that's the one I'm going to be working on. I'm going to grab my uploads, and here's a stripe, but that's the color guard. So I'm going to go over and grab my band one and pull it over and resize it. I hope you guys are learning something by being here. So, okay. Now again, I'm going to grab my shape. So as you can see, I don't want to run any type of risk of having this barely outside of the line right there and have them reject it. That's just, it's the biggest nightmare. So I'm going to grab an object. Again, I'm going to pull it over. I'm going to resize it. And I'm actually going to do black on this one because there's more black than there is like white. It would be harder for me to find this exact color of the gold. So I'm just going to change this to black. And again, I'm just going to make this massive, put that right over the top, and I'm going to push it back. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to resize or align this the way I want it to be aligned, and then I'm going to copy it. All right, then I'm going to flip it. I am wobbly tonight. Let's see here, just like that. Okay, and I am going to push that right there. And now I am going to apply to multiples. So I'm going to clear my boxes again. Again, it's going to save whatever you did last. So you want to make sure you clear it or you're going to have to redo what you did before. So again, there's 3, 6, 9, and then the next one starts with 2, and then 5, and then 8, and then apply to selected. Okay, so I'm going to look over here. That looks pretty good. I'm not going to change anything there. This one, I am actually going to resize this a little bit because I want that a little bit smaller. Okay, and now I'm going to delete this. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to flip it around. Oops, let's do that a little bit more, or it'll be crooked. You don't want that. You definitely don't want crooked designs. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this down, and then on this one, I'm going to pull it up. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm actually going to, since I've got a 6 here and then a 5, I'm going to apply it to both of those because they're pretty similar in size to where the design, the 5 is actually bigger, so I know it's going to fit on both of them and look decent. So I'm going to apply that to multiple. I'm going to clear my boxes, and I'm going to put that on the 6 and the 5 and apply. See, the 5 just resized. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. Now I'm going to go to my 9. So that's definitely way too big. I am going to, again, just resize this. Let's pull that up. We're going to delete this. I'm going to pull that down a little bit. Okay, and now I'm going to copy it, flip it around, and then pull this down. I'm also going to pull that up. Okay, and I am going to apply to multiple again on this one, clear my boxes, and then that's going to be on 8 on this side, and then 9 on this side, and then apply. You can see my 8 resized, my 9 resized. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and name this, and I'm going to name it Davis Black Gold, because I have a white on gold band mixed Manny. Okay, now I'm going to preview this. So the preview is going to allow me to see a full sheet. It's going to allow me to see what, and sometimes you have to click on this twice or 3 times. And it's going to allow me to see what is this going to look like on the actual sheet when it's printed. It's also going to give me an opportunity to see if anything needs to be aligned or adjusted a little bit, just to see, does everything look right? Is everything going to look good once they're printed? So the biggest things that I'm looking at is I'm looking at my symbols here. I'm making sure that everything is lined to where it's going to look good. And on this one right here, you can see on this particular wrap right here, I am not happy with how it's lined up right here. I think it needs to move over just a smidge on this side, and maybe the same thing for this. I think they just need to be moved over to the left just a tad, possibly even these 2 right here. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to fix that. So I'm going to click on back. Okay, and I'm already on that wrap, so we're going to move this over a little again. Oops, we're going to move this over. And then same thing on 8. We're going to move this over. Again, it's just tiny movements because this is a small area, and then we're going to preview again. Sometimes this pops up right away and sometimes it doesn't. Patience is a virtue. It is late. I'm sure a lot of people are working on NAS right now. So, okay. So that to me looks a lot better. It looks a little bit more centered. It looks a lot better. So I'm happy with that. I do want this particular one. I want this moved down just a tiny bit. So I am going to, and then this, I'm going to move this over a little bit. So I'm going to move this down, move this over, and I think I'm good. So I'm going to click on this wrap right here. I'm going to move that down just a tad. Okay, and then on this one, I wanted this moved over a little bit. Now I'm going to preview again. And you know what? I didn't hit apply, so we might have to go back. Yeah, that one didn't move. So there we go. Okay, and then this one I think I'm happy with. Yep. Okay. So once you guys have your images that you actually want to put on here, it becomes a little bit easier. It's exactly the way that you want it, to where everything is aligned, everything looks right. What I actually like to do is I'm going to do a print screen on this. And then what I do is I'm just going to go over to Paint, because there's really no way to really, you know, save this. You can save it directly like this if you want to, which we can do right now as well. I don't want it as a PNG though. I actually want it saved as a JPEG. That's just my personal preference. So I just did a print screen. I'm going to go over to Paint, and I'm actually just going to paste that right in here. You can get that from your print screen button right on your keyboard. You're going to do that. I'm going to crop it out. Okay. And now I'm just going to save as, and I want this saved as a JPEG. So I'm going to do black, gold, stripe, band, mixed Mammy. Save that. Okay. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm submitting this for approval. Okay. So I'm going to agree to terms and conditions, and I'm going to submit that. What this is saying is this is warning me about the line, saying that if whatever you have is outside or is inside this line, we're going to reject it. Now, I know I'm safe there, so I'm just going to submit that design. You're going to get back to me with the approval on that. And I've noticed that the approvals are taking about 2 days right now. So I wanted to show you ladies that for those of you who wanted to see how to actually size things on both sides, that type of thing, how to upload your own images, those types of ideas. Now we can, so I can go back to like my designs over here. So you can, like, for instance, something like this. Like this was something just really simple that I did for my niece. So, and you can do that. You can do simple things like this. All of this was actually done in, let's see, preview. All of these were done in actual NAS. So I didn't upload anything special. I didn't do anything special. That was done just in NAS. This one as well. This one was done in NAS too. This was for another fundraiser for a high school. So there's your Power Jam stuff. Let's see, the Seattle ones, like this was obviously not done in NAS. I did these in Photoshop and GIMP, and then I uploaded it. I had to design the skyline and everything myself. So that's something that actually took a lot of time. So that's just a basic idea. So I'll show you really fast how to actually use this using a simple design. So if you wanted to do, let's see something simple here, like a floral. Okay, there's that design. Now we do not have the ability to print on clear, you guys. So this it's gonna show up white in the background. Now if you don't want it white, come over here, grab an object. You can use the square. I always just use this because it's very easy to use. Now you can, again, I just make that super big to make sure I'm safe on the parameters there. And then I can change the color of that. So if I wanted, say, like a light gray, I could do that. And then I'm going to shove it back. Okay. And then if I wanted this one white, I could do that. And you can do something simple like this, or you could flip it sideways and then drop it down and shrink it. If you wanted it to cover kind of a smaller surface, you could do something like that. So unlimited potential, you guys, with NAS. There's so many things that you can do. If you wanted something larger, you could just print it up, you know, do something like this. If you wanted something, and you know, you can also layer. So one other thing that you could do is if, let's say, you wanted something in like a baby pink or something, come over here and you can grab another one just like this. And you can come over here and you can just do like a baby pink, and you can move things around and then come over here and you can shrink this so that it's different sizes and it goes different directions. And you could just, again, if you just wanted that to be on all of them, clear and then apply to all. So then you go, okay, see how simple that was, you guys? And then you have cute, easy, fun, simple that you can have printed, that you can have sent off. So again, that's really easy. If you wanted them to look a little bit different, again, you can do something like this. You can move this over, apply it, that type of thing. So there's unlimited things that you can do. Again, just preview something very, very simple that you can do, but it's very quick. It's very easy. You just pick the colors that you want, and then you just go with it. It's fun. So that's just an idea. You can layer with these different designs. You can turn them sideways. So that's kind of what it would look like if I wanted to have something like that printed. And it took me what? It took me probably a minute to do that. So that's just an idea. You can also, we're going to delete this. Let's see, you can also come in and you can grab a simple pattern. Okay, but if you didn't want it to look like this, say you wanted it, you know, diagonal, you could come in, put it like that, and then you can grab another one and you can flip it the other way. Okay, like this. If you wanted something more like checkered, you could do something like this, and then again, you can change the color on it. You can, and then if you wanted more black showing through, you could push this one back, and there you go, or you pull it forward. So that's kind of how that works. It's pretty easy. It's pretty simple. You can really do anything that you want to with this, and there's a lot of different options. So it's fun to layer, it's fun to play with. You can grab polka dots and stripes together, resize, make the polka dots bigger and the stripes smaller, or vice versa. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do this. If you want to create an awareness wrap, let's say you're doing a fundraiser for childhood cancer or something like that, you can. Now, childhood cancer is yellow, so that's the color for the ribbon. So you can come in here and you can put the yellow. Now, if you want a different color, you can click on more down here and you have unlimited amounts. So you can put anything that you want for the color in here. Now, if you know what the color code is for, let's say you're in Photoshop or something and you have a color code, you can simply put that in here and it will actually automatically put that code in there to match a number exactly. And we can get into that another time, but I wanted to at least show you guys how to actually do this. And have you actually see it so that you know how to size things, move things around. As you can see now, I'm sure that now that you guys are seeing this, it simplifies things a little bit. And just remember that if you have something exactly the way that you want it, like you like this right here, you can just copy it, you guys, and then all that you need to do is just flip it around. Now, the thing you have to be careful with stuff like this is that you can see that these patterns don't line up. They don't. So you've got to find, there we go, right there. They probably line up the best right there. So that's something that you could then apply it and then go to your preview and see how it needs to be adjusted. But that's the one thing that I would caution you on, is that when you shrink it down like this and then you flip it and copy, you want to make sure that that those patterns line up. If you're doing a polka dot, you want to make sure that it's not a half and then nothing right here. You want to make sure that those patterns line up so that they look professional. So with that being said, I will let you guys get back to your night. I hope that this helped you guys a little bit. If you do have questions, in fact, after you guys see this, I want you to ask, you know, or tell me what type of questions that you guys have based off of this, and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.